Hello and welcome along to the match as Real Madrid are preparing for a second Clásico in 4 days after Tuesday's famous Copa victory in the Camp Nou. Los Blancos are taking on Barcelona in the league at the Santiago Bernabéu on Saturday afternoon. With me as ever to look ahead to the game, Tim Stannard. Tim, welcome along.
Nice to be here.
Have we had Clásico overload yet?
Never. No, this is number 6 and we might well have 2 more if they meet in the Champions League. It's fascinating, each individual Clásico stands up in its own right as a fantastic story, and a match now which is producing goals and producing fantastic football from both sides, really delivering, but also in an ongoing narrative over 2 or 3 years now. It's really not losing any interest, and because of the result on Tuesday night, it set up what was going to be, I think, a fairly quiet affair on Saturday. It really does mean a lot, especially for one particular team. That result on Tuesday night, let's quickly talk about that. 3-1 for Real Madrid in the Camp Nou. Just a brilliant result, and it's given everyone surrounding the team a real feel-good factor. Yeah, it's been a difficult season for Real Madrid. However, this result is a massive, massive boost of confidence. It shows the team does still have it. It shows that Cristiano Ronaldo is still fantastic in the Camp Nou. It shows the defence can still be focused, concentrated, and you can see the fans there welcoming the players, first of all, to the airport in Barcelona and also in Cibeles as well. And it sets it up nicely, especially for Manchester United. Sir Alex Ferguson was watching in the stands in the Camp Nou, and he'd have been very worried indeed, of course, because that tie is 1-1, and he would be very concerned if Real Madrid pull off a performance like that, then it could be difficult for them. And a lot of people are focusing on Barcelona and how they didn't play very well, but I think it's a little bit unfair. I think there should be more focus on a really, really strong performance from Real Madrid, especially the defence. Of course, Cristiano Ronaldo got the goals and it was a great counter-attack, but the defence was brilliant. Varane, Arbeloa, Sergio Ramos as well, they were all fantastic. Didn't put a foot wrong. They had to be very focused through the entire match. Well, let's hear from one of those defenders. Sergio Ramos spoke after the match.
Evidentemente uno se va muy contento a casa, ¿no? Y con sensaciones muy buenas, pero el fútbol sigue y no hay que quedar, ¿no? Ni cuando se falla lamentándote, ni ahora que se ha ganado celebrando, ¿no? Ahora hay que pensar de nuevo en el Barcelona, que viene Liga, y ya después pensar en la Champions, que también es una competición a la cual le tenemos un cariño especial.
Sergio Ramos speaking to Real Madrid TV after that win in the Camp Nou. It means that Real Madrid have got a final of the Copa del Rey to look forward to. It's going to be a Madrid derby as well. We've got Atletico. It's fantastic, isn't it? So you've had the two Clásicos to the semi-finals, and they've been really fascinating games, and a really interesting looking final for the first time since 1992, if I'm not mistaken. And because normally in this tie, Atletico Madrid come off worst against Real Madrid, but it's a very different Atletico Madrid this season. They're very professional, very solid. They know how to get results. They had a difficult tie against Sevilla, more difficult than people realise, but they went down there in the semi-final and got a 2-2 draw. And what's going to be interesting for the city as well, you see Cibeles fountain there, the fans gathering, and about 400 metres down the road is their own fountain. So I don't know how they're going to police this one. It's going to be a difficult night for the city. We don't yet know where it's going to be played or when it's going to be played, which is normal in the league, but really looking forward to this game. Yeah, what we do know is that Real Madrid will be in that final. Let's talk about the game at the Santiago Bernabéu then against Barcelona on Saturday afternoon. How do you think Real Madrid are going to approach this? Because we had the big win on Tuesday. We've got another huge game in the Champions League the following Tuesday. Some selection headaches or some changes in the starting 11? It's really difficult for Jose Mourinho. There's one is to go with the ego, in the sense of try and repeat the performance against Barcelona and really put one over them twice in a week. Or there's the practical side of maybe conceding the match to Barcelona, who need the victory a lot more than Real Madrid to boost their morale. So, but then again, if you rest players, you can't rest players against Barcelona. I'm sure Jose Mourinho would have preferred a match against Getafe or Celta or someone like that, but instead it's the Clásico and you can't concede anything. So, but then again, when you talk about Real Madrid, you could say squad players. You're looking at swapping an international for an international. You're looking at swapping Kaká for Özil. You're looking at Marcelo for Coentrão or Higuaín for Benzema. So it's hardly a weakened team, but it's going to be even harder than ever to predict what the starting 11 is going to be, because we don't quite know what Jose Mourinho is going to do. For example, you really want to try and keep up the momentum of that match on Tuesday. So if Barcelona come out all guns blazing and get one over Real Madrid, it might dent the confidence a little bit. You said it's very difficult to predict what the starting 11 is going to be, but we've got you to try and do it. Let's have a look at who Tim thinks is going to be starting for Real Madrid in the Bernabeu.
We're giving it a go. I think Sergio Ramos might well play right back. I think he might play there at Old Trafford, and you'll have Varane and Pepe at centre back. Quentrao in at left back. However, Marcelo might be fit enough. I don't think you're going to see Xabi Alonso or Khedira in this match. So it's going to be a difficult job against people like Iniesta for Essien and Modric. And Benzema up front just to get him some minutes and just to get him some confidence. And Kaká, maybe a start against Barcelona. And if he does well, maybe a start, who knows, against Manchester United on Tuesday.
Absolutely. So that's who Tim thinks is going to be starting for Real Madrid against Barcelona in the Santiago Bernabéu on Saturday afternoon. You mentioned Kaká there. You've got a sneaky feeling that he might start. Let's hear from the Brazilian who's been speaking at the pre-match press conference.
Ganar del Barça es siempre una cosa.
Beating Barcelona is always a good thing for us, and now we are playing them in another competition in the league. I think the team is looking good and full of confidence, and we will go for the 3 points tomorrow to try and cut the gap on them, and also to continue what's been a great week.
De ellos mañana. Bajar de los 16 para los 13 y para seguir para una semana importante con el Manchester. Tenemos muchas ganas.
We're really looking forward to another game against Barcelona. Every time we play them, it's a very special game, and we have an extra motivation. So playing them in front of our own fans, with the stadium full, after what has been a great week for us, well, we're really looking forward to it.
Una motivación especial para afrontar este partido.
Kaká speaking at the pre-match press conference. We've spoken a little bit about how Real Madrid might approach this game. Let's speak briefly how Barcelona might approach it, because they'll be desperate to try and get one back on Madrid.
Yeah, I said if Real Madrid could pick a game, it wouldn't be a Clásico. If Barcelona could pick a game to respond from a Clásico, it's another Clásico. They're really, really down in the dumps, you could say, in the Catalan capital. We've got to remember they are going into this league match with a hefty lead over both Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid, so they should be fairly euphoric, knowing whatever the result, it's not going to make any kind of difference in the title race. But they're really concerned now whether or not those performances against Sevilla was a bit lacklustre, against Milan and against Real Madrid is just a dip in form, which happens to any side, or it's something fundamentally wrong with the players, something fundamentally wrong with the way things are going. You know, what impact Tito Villanova's absence is having. So there's a lot of questions in the Catalan capital. They might be able to answer some of them on Saturday, so they'll be looking to bring their strongest possible 11, put on their best performance, and they can say, OK, last Tuesday's match was just a glitch. Everything's fine, especially for their Champions League clash against Milan coming up the week after next.
Absolutely. So it's the Clásico on Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock Spanish time, an early kickoff for Los Blancos. Let's take a look at some of the other matches in Spain this weekend, though, and it's actually a really interesting looking set of games. We've got some big games at Getafe against Zaragoza, not necessarily one of those. That's the Friday night
No, I was going to say, the others are quite good. I think a home win for Getafe. You know why? Because Luis Garcia, their manager, said the players will get 3 days off if they win that match. That's all they need.
That's incentive indeed. You've gone for a draw, Real Madrid-Barcelona.
I do. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in this one. I think it's going to be a bit of a stalemate.
Rayo Vallecano travelling to Deportivo La Coruña.
Therefore, still with problems, Rayo to pick up an away win.
We've got what I'm terming the Basque-ish derby, Osasuna hosting Athletic Bilbao.
Athletic must win it. Bielsa might be sacked. I think Osasuna are going to do it, though, 1-0.
There's the Valencia derby at Mestalla, Valencia hosting Levante.
Valencia not won this fixture in Mestalla for 3 years now, or 3 seasons, so I think it's going to be Valencia.
Big game at the bottom as Granada host Mallorca.
Narrow home win for Granada, more problems for Mallorca.
Espanyol hosting Valladolid.
Comfortable home win for Espanyol.
Could be a good game at La Rosaleda with Atletico Madrid, the visitors.
It's a tough one to call. I think Atletico on a little bit of a run at the moment, so away win.
Real Sociedad hosting Real Betis.
A surprising away win for Betis. They're due a good performance away from home.
And Sevilla against Celta is the Monday night game.
Disappointment in the cup for Sevilla, but they'll bounce back with a win.
OK, so that's the full predictions from Tim Stannard. Just time to get a score prediction for the Clásico. How do you think it's going to go?
I think I'm going to go for 1-1, goals from Ronaldo and Messi.
Sounds like it could well happen, very likely indeed. That's all we've got time for on this edition of The Match. Hope you've enjoyed the show, but from Tim and myself, it's adios.